Support our hashtag Creatives on Jess TV, hosted by Alan Greenstein. Our special guest is harpist, vocalist, guitarist, and songwriter Kristin Rebecca. We will discuss Kristin's inspiration, musical style, and the instruments she plays. We will also ask Kristin about the importance of the Maryland State Arts Council, where she can be seen, and what she is currently promoting. This is a recording of a live broadcast, so expect some imperfections during the show. There was some editing performed on the original recording. Enjoy the show.
Okay, hello everybody. This is the Support Our Hashtag Creatives podcast. My name is Alan Greenstein, and what I do for my brand, Support Our Hashtag Creatives, we level the playing field for underrepresented creators and artists so that they have the same opportunities as everyone else to get their works created, distributed, and seen. I'm also on the board of directors of the Bella Levy Foundation, and the goal of the Bella Levy Foundation is to fight human trafficking and provide a safe haven for its warriors. So I'm so excited tonight as I have as a guest Kristin Rebecca, harpist, vocalist, guitarist, and songwriter. So, Kristin, why don't you briefly introduce yourself and we'll be on our way.
Hi, Alan. Thanks so much for having me on this podcast. Like you said, my name is Kristin, or Kristin Rebecca, as I go by my artist name. I am a modern folk musician and songwriter. I play the Celtic harp, which you can actually see behind me here, as well as the guitar. And I do mostly original songs, but I also include sometimes some traditional folk music in my concerts as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And tell us how you, you tell us your origination story. How did you get into music in the first place?
So it started with the guitar, and I was in middle school. And I was going to a church at that time that had a youth worship band that played for the confirmation classes I was a part of. And I thought the bass player, who was a teenager, like in high school at the time, he was really cute. And I was like 12, and I was like, I want to meet him. And I noticed the guitarist stood next to him. And so I was like, I'm going to take up the guitar and I'm going to join the band and we're going to meet. And so I did take up the guitar. I got in the band, but by the time I got in the band, he had left. But my love for music had stayed. And so I stuck with the guitar for a while, as I still play to this day. But I decided I wanted to take on another instrument as well. And I was sort of messing around with various ones at the time. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And we happened to be visiting family one summer in Minnesota, and they have a big music store there called Growth Music. And we went in there, and they were actually selling lever harps, or also known as Celtic harps. And I'd never seen one before. I just never had. And I walked up to it, and I plucked one string. And I turned around and I looked at my mom and I said, I want to play that. And I called it that because I didn't know what it was at all. I just wanted to play that instrument. And so when we got back to Maryland, my parents rented a harp starting out just to make sure that I would follow through with playing it. And they got me lessons with a teacher in Bowie. And I took off from there, and I ended up, sticking with the harp as well. And voice lessons, I started, I believe in high school around 13. Or maybe 12, 13. And then I actually majored in college as a voice major.
Oh, wow. That's right. It's fantastic. Okay. So now, what kind of guitar do you specialize in? Is it electric or acoustic? What kind do you prefer?
At my shows, I mainly stick to acoustic guitar at this stage. I did play electric for a while and shows, but right now it's mainly acoustic, but I'll probably at some point add the electric back in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And tell us what is special about the Celtic harp as opposed to maybe the kind of harp that other people might be more used to seeing. What's the difference? What makes it a Celtic?
Yeah. So the one a lot of people are used to seeing is called the orchestral harp or the pedal harp. And the biggest difference, besides height, is if you can sort of see on the harp behind me, there's levers on the top of the strings. And it's hard, I know, to see in the video, but they are up there. And anytime I want to change the key on the string, it goes up a half step if I raise a lever. So I tune in E flat, and if, for instance, the C's, if I want to move it to C sharp, I'll flip the lever up, but you have to do each individual lever by hand to do that. So you can't do necessarily a lot of fast key changes when you're playing a lever harp. The pedal harps change keys from pedals that are on the back of the instrument. And if they push one pedal down, from my understanding, all those strings will change at once. So I could be wrong with that, but that's my understanding. And so all the C's will all of a sudden change to C sharp.
Okay, so you could, so with the Celtic harp, you can adjust each string independently?
Yes.
Oh, that is different. Yeah. When you mentioned a pedal harp, like the other kind of harp, makes me think of a piano where the pedals, doesn't the pedal on the piano change a lot of the chords simultaneously, I think. Yeah,
sometimes the pedals on the piano will do sustain and things as well. But definitely with the pedal, I know that it changes the strings. I've never actually played one, but I think that's what they mainly do.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. That's very interesting about the levers that you mentioned. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned. So what would you classify your musical style as being?
So really, what it is I call it, it's classical voice mixed with world or Celtic harp mixed with folk guitar or roots guitar. And so I call it modern folk. I just tend to push them all together and call it a modern folk sound. And I like to say that keeps the traditional storytelling of folk music with sort of hooks of a modern pop sound in that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, do you write all your own music, or do you, or not?
I do. So, well, most of the music that, for instance, if you find me on Spotify, is original. I do have one traditional album out, and that album is called Where Fairies Dwell, which is traditional Celtic music. But mostly what I do is original music, and I throw in some traditional Celtic instrumentals and songs as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna stop for a brief commercial, okay, and then we'll be right back. I'm Alan Greenstein, founder and producer at Support Our Hashtag Creatives. At Support Our Hashtag Creatives, I offer a number of services to support those developing a project. Check out the services tab of my website at supportourcreatives.com. If you are interested, please use the contact tab on my website or email me directly at alan@supportourcreatives.com. We are back. Okay. Okay. Tell us about you playing the festival circuit.
So, especially post COVID, a lot of what I've been doing is performing at Renaissance festivals, and I get to opportunity because my music can fit in so many different venues. I'm able to play a lot of original music as well as some of the traditional music there, both on the harp and the guitar I use to back my voice, as well as play some harp instrumentals. I also play, various other venues too, like art centers and concert series and listening rooms. But one of the places people see me a lot in the Maryland area is the Maryland Renaissance Festival, which is a lot of fun to play. It's just a beautiful venue, and they treat us so well there, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. So, how many weeks does the Maryland Renaissance Festival run for each year?
9 weekends plus that the Monday in the fall that you have off. Unfortunately, I don't remember what that day is called.
Okay.
Is it Labor Day?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, in Maryland. Yeah. And tell us where the Maryland Renaissance Festival is located.
The Maryland Renaissance Festival is located in Crownsville.
Crownsville, Maryland. Okay,
yes. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Do you play festivals in other parts of the country as well?
Yes. So I have been very fortunate to play both music festivals and Renaissance festivals all over the country. I've played in, like, for instance, I've played the Philly Folk Festival. I've played the New Hampshire Renaissance Festival. I've played the Atlas Performing Arts Festival in Washington, D.C. So I mean, basically anywhere where I can get a show and they'll have me, I will go there.
Oh, wow. So um, that's interesting you said that. How do the people in different parts of the country find out about you?
So when I book shows, I would say pretty much 99.5% of the time, it's me reaching out to a venue
Okay.
and saying, "Hi, I'm Kristin. This is what I do. I would really, really like to play at your venue." I mean, I write it a little more professionally than that, but I think I would fit well in here. Here's a bit about my background, about where venues I've played, about the style of my music, and then I add some links into live performance. And I have various links depending on who I'm contacting. Like here's what it'll look like if I play at a folk festival versus maybe here's what it looks like when I play at a Renaissance festival here versus an arts festival. And sometimes I play with other musicians, so I have then videos with them as well. And so I send that all in one email, and then I wait to hear back, and I send out hundreds of emails a year usually.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I'm always interested in the process that people use
Yeah.
to get their voices out there.
Mm-hmm.
And do you more than likely you've probably performed at these festivals multiple times once you've been there the first time? You find it easy to get a repeat invitation?
Yeah, so it really depends on the festival because every festival sort of works differently. And sometimes they're really happy to have repeat people. And other times they're like, every year we'd like a new group of people because that's what our patrons want. Or sometimes they'll split the difference and they'll ask people back, and they'll mix it up with new people. And no one has to do anything wrong. The artists are great. Everything's gone well. It's just they're like, we want to mix it up this year. So, you never quite know. You always hope to get an invitation back, but sometimes I do. And sometimes, they're like, we just, we loved what you did, but this year we're going with all new people. So it just really depends.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So, so it looks like, as I mentioned, you perform pretty much all over the country. And, and other than the Renaissance Festival type of places, what other kinds of venues do you perform at?
So I started out initially in like coffee shops, and then I worked my way up to listening rooms, which is sort of an intimate concert venues, which are like 100 seat and under. I've done art centers and concert series. I've done songwriter festivals and folk festivals and arts festivals. So I've worked my way through sort of the venues as I've gone, and I'm pretty much open to play wherever. I even have played grocery stores at one point.
Did? Oh, wow.
I did, yes.
I like when you mentioned the listening room. I think that's
Yes.
a very intimate way of getting people getting to see you.
Mm-hmm. I love doing listening rooms. It's so, like you said, it has such an intimate vibe to it, and you really get to see your audience and interact with them. And it almost feels like you're just with them in a way that you don't always get on bigger stages, even though those are equally fun.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good. I mean, I'm sure that the people who attend, they get a kick out of being able to interact with the artist.
Yeah, that's the best part. Is really being able to interact with people as part of performance.
Yeah. Right. Wow. Okay. So, what was your first, big song that you promoted when you earlier on when you were getting started?
Oh, my first big song?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a song. The first thing I ever promoted, I guess, musical tracks, was an EP I came out with called Fringe. And I created that in college. And it was six original songs. And I re-recorded some of them for an album I did later called Tales, Trials, Truths. I sort of wanted to give them really life, essentially. And I put them together because one of the things I knew is I was starting to get a feel for what people would want to hire you. Every venue was like, we need you to put out music, whatever style of music you do, whether you're doing covers or whether you're doing traditional or you're doing original, we need to hear something. So I went in and did that, and it was a 6-song EP. It's still up online, actually. And that was the first set of musical songs I put out in the world.
Oh, wow. And once again, what is it called?
Fringe.
Fringe. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Okay, so let's go talk about how do you promote yourself in general. This-
So I promote myself what I call in sort of duo ways. And part of what I say is promoting myself in the public. And then I do it also behind the scenes. And right now, what I'm doing right now is trying to gain representation. So I promote myself behind the scenes as well. It's something I'm working on very heavily right now. In terms of with the public, I do things like trying to get on podcasts like what we're doing here today. Social media, I'm about to get more heavily into social media right now. I've been planning a lot of things for stuff like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And also I do have a newsletter I try to send out at least once a month if people want to get attached to that, which talk about the shows. And behind the scenes, I'm putting together materials to submit to agents and managers and labels. And as I've been going throughout the years, I've been learning more and more about what they are looking for when you do want to talk to them about being represented.
Yeah. Okay, that's a big step for you,
Yes.
getting representation.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, are you considered, is the terminology that you're an indie artist if you're not represented, or is that not the right term to use?
You know, I don't know if that's about representation or whether or not that's about being signed. I've never been quite clear. You know, if you could be indie and be represented, but if you're signed to a label, that's when you're no longer indie. I'm actually not sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sure that but it sounds like you are on the move in terms of getting representation. That'll be a great situation to be in when it happens. And good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So what music are you heavily promoting now?
So a lot of what I've been promoting a little more recently is trying to, I came up with well, it's not brand new, but it's in my newest album. It's called Realm of Enchantment. It's also an EP. It is 6 tracks, but most of the tracks have multi-pieces on them. So they're known as sets in the Celtic world, which sort of, the best way I can describe it is that you put multiple pieces on one track and they flow together well.
Okay.
And that one is a harp and voice album as well as harp instrumental. And it came about with the idea of making this fantasy worlds through song and through instrumentals.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's so. That's see, is that still a work in progress, or is that out now?
It's out right now. You can hear it on all the streaming platforms. All the songs on there are based upon some sort of mythology. So there's a song on there called Siren's Call, which is based on sirens. I have several songs about the realm of the fairies based upon folklore, and then one called Little Magic Bird, which is my own telling of sort of original fairy tale based upon another fairy tale I had read.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Tell us about the Maryland State Arts Council.
Yeah, so I don't work for them, but I was very lucky to this year get on what they call their artist touring roster. And I was looking on their website, and the best way to find information about everything they do is to go on their website. And filled out some forms to submit, and then they told me I got in, and so now I'm on their artist touring roster. And they at least did a showcase with us, some of the people on there. So we submitted to a showcase, and venues and presenters come and listen to hear different things that you do if you get to be a part of the showcase.
Oh, okay. There's another way to get your name out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So you're saying that do they sponsor particular like concerts that you would be performing at? Is that how that works?
No, it was just giving an opportunity for venues to look up to see who is there.
Oh, okay. So if there's a venue out there looking for people to perform, they go to this website and they're going to see your name on there.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's so this is a great resource, and the fact that the Maryland State Arts Council has recognized you and asked you to be on their list. That's a great accomplishment.
I was really excited and just really grateful that they gave me that opportunity.
Yeah, that sounds really great. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What other kind of the music that you've created do you want to talk about?
So I have right now, if people want to hear the various albums that I have out, and singles. I have 2 EPs out that we discussed, Fringe, my very first one, and then Realm of Enchantment, my most recent album. And I have 2 full-length albums that they can hear online, one called Tales, Trials, Truth, which is original songs that they can hear. And that has full band on it, and it has harp, guitar, which I play on the album, vocals, which I sing, as well as there's drums on there, there's cello, there's fiddle, there's bass. We had a wonderful singer come and do some backup vocals. And so that's another album they can hear. And then there's my traditional album, Where Fairies Dwell, which is mostly harp instrumental with a few harp and voice, as well as a couple original pieces on there. And then I have two singles out. One is called Siren's Call, which I actually released before Realm of Enchantment. And then I have a Christmas single out called Christmas Memories.
Oh, wow. That's great. Fantastic. Yeah. So you have been busy creating your content.
Yes. Yeah. And I've recorded more, but right now I have not released them.
Oh, okay. Okay. So people have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, we're gonna pause again for a brief commercial message, and we'll be right back. So hang on. I'm Alan Greenstein, founder and producer at Support Our Hashtag Creatives. If you make something, albeit make a movie, start a business, write a book, make a physical product, run a nonprofit, promote people, are a songwriter, etc. You too are a creative, and I would love to have you be a guest on the Support Our Hashtag Creatives podcast. If you want to be featured on this podcast, please use the contact tab on my website at supportourcreatives.com or email me directly at alan@supportourcreatives.com. Okay, we are back. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, I sound like you already mentioned what's upcoming for you. You mentioned you have some songs that are in the pipeline.
Yes.
And do you have any in-person appearances coming up in the near future?
Yeah. So I'm started my holiday season last Friday, actually, playing in downtown Frederick for their Frosty Friday. And the holiday season is continuing this week as well. I'll be playing Midnight Madness in Annapolis, as well as the Gettysburg Christmas Festival, both on Saturday and Sunday. I have usually you can find my schedule on my website. Right now I'm having a little issues with updating with the program I use to update. So at least look up for it on social media. And I'll be doing more holiday shows up until the end of the year.
Yeah, you'll be doing these shows in Maryland or all over?
It'll be in the region. So we mostly Maryland, but the Gettysburg Christmas Festival takes place in Pennsylvania, and so it's mainly just regional for this time of year.
Yeah. Okay. So, tell us, you're a composer as well as a songwriter. Mm-hmm. So, when you talk about being a composer, you talk about the. So, tell us about that. How do you marry the two, being a songwriter and a composer?
Yeah, so I see myself as a songwriter first, but I do get the idea for tunes that I would say mainly fit into the Celtic style of instrumentals that you hear. So I've written some jigs. I wrote a couple reels, and I wrote an air called, one of my favorite to talk about, which is called Cows in a Puddle, or Call of the Cows, that you can hear on Realm of Enchantment.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and I know that the idea of cows is not necessarily like the biggest inspiration for a lot of people. I mean, some people obviously, but not a lot of people. But when I was touring all over, and when I do tour, I get in a van and I go from state to state, or sometimes cross country. And one thing I noticed we passed a lot of was cows, a lot of ranches out there. And sometimes I'd notice from the road as we go by is that they would have these sort of, I think they're man-made, I'm not sure, but these sort of like lakes that were sort of little lakes that sometimes I'd see the cows stand in, especially when they were hot out. And in one day, it was really hot. I forget what state we were in, and we passed a bunch of cows at this ranch, and like 10 of them were all standing in this little lake. And I was like, oh, I gotta write like a tune about that. And so I deemed the tune kind of pastoral in the way it sounds, and called it Cows in a Puddle, but it didn't sound very Realm of Enchantment, very fantasy when I was recording it for the album. So I called it Call of the Cows instead.
Oh, that's an interesting sight, seeing cows in the lake.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like all people all over the country have had the opportunity to see you perform, and I think that is so amazing that you're able to get to this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, going back a bit, when you first started, how long do you think it took before you actually performed outside of Maryland?
I mean, when I first started, I was willing to really go far for places, for coffee shops. I wasn't really necessarily going to cross the country for a coffee shop, but I did early on even go into West Virginia, which I know is not like the end of the world from Maryland, but I was willing to drive there to go play a coffee shop, because I was like, one thing I saw, people were like, you need to get out, you need to go and travel around to play. And so I was like, okay, hi, I'm Kristin, can I play at your coffee shop? And they allowed me in. And so that's one of the things I started doing, actually, was really early on, was at least regional performance work, like the grocery stores I mentioned earlier. I played those in Delaware for a lot of years.
Now that sounds unusual, performing in a grocery store.
Yeah, there was someone I worked with up in Delaware who would book people for various things, but also these sort of live music at ShopRites in Delaware. And I don't know if they're still doing it, but but I was like, he's like, do you want to do it? And I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that you have a strong imagination, which is a very important factor, I suspect, in songwriting and composing.
I like to think that I do. I think it's really good to try to write about all kinds of topics is one thing I'm really big on. I mean, inspiration from my own life, which you hear a lot of the Tales, Trials, and Truths album, as well as the Fringe album, and Christmas Memories. That's a big one, where that whole song was based upon the idea of how each ornament I hang on a tree reminds me of a different past memory at Christmas time. And then I also like to write about mythology, because I'm like, there's a lot of tales there. And I started, getting to write my own folklore, so to speak. And I feel like also inspiration can come from anywhere. A song I wrote called Horseshoe is based upon a gravestone I saw at Boot Hill Cemetery. And so, yeah. And so I feel like it's good to expand on as many stories as possible as a songwriter.
Yeah. Yes, that does seem to be the way to go. Yeah. So, do you have any words of encouragement for those who would like to emulate what you do?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely encourage anyone who wants to go into music or any arts to definitely, be very driven and go for what you feel that you want to say. That's actually the most important part, which I know so many artists say, and everyone's like, that's what everyone says, but it's true, because only you have your voice. And so whatever you want to say is the best And this way you want to say it is the best way possible. And not the best advice I feel like I was ever given as an artist was, don't emulate someone else. Say what you want to say and be who you want to be in your music. And I've always tried to do that as best as I can. And that's the encouragement I give other people as well, is to try to find your voice in the arts.
Yeah, well, that's great. I hope that people will be encouraged by what you have said, today. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, is there anything else you would like to add?
If people would like to follow me on social media, I'm always, it would be great. I'm on all the socials, and upcoming shows, as I mentioned before, will be put on my website, as well as Facebook and Instagram mainly for those types of posts. And I would be great to meet anyone at a show. And if people want to reach out through online, that'd be awesome. And I just want to thank you so much for having me.
Oh yeah. So I'm also going to post your website so people can see it. It's KristinRebecca.com. Where's that? There we go. So I guess from there, you'll be able to get to all your other social medias and all that as well.
Yeah, so the first page on there has the icon links to everything that anyone would want to listen to. So for like Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, it's all on there, right on the first page.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. Okay. It's really been great having you on, Kristin. And I want to mention that for those, thank the people who have watched this live, as well as those who are watching it on the replay. When the replay will be seen on various platforms such as Spotify. And in addition to that, the Canadian TV service called Jess TV, JESS-TV. So that's another place where people will be able to catch this. Yeah. Okay. So once again, thanks everybody for being here today, and thank you, Kristin, once again. It's been I really enjoy having just like it says, I support creatives, and having all kinds of different creatives. So that's what I do, and I love doing it, and I'm so glad that Kristin reached out to me to be on this podcast.
Well, thanks so much for having me, and for everyone who's watching as well. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Okay. So with that, I'm going to say good night, everybody.